Good evening, good morning, good night. Wherever you may be watching this transmission, it is I, Mike Martins, with a little bit of last minute Mike in the night, decided to put something together for you guys. And we need to talk about what's happening with this global migration. And I got the draft, the final draft of the Global Compact for Migration, this GCM. And the final draft was drafted on the 11th of July, 2018. Now, what is a migrant? Migration, what is it? Migrant means to move from one place to another, sometimes part of a back and forth pattern, sometimes to stay. So, you get migrating geese. Migrating geese, okay? So, geese migrate to different patterns or different, birds. And this is how they actually talk about it here. They define it here like that. Let's go back here. So, to emigrate, E-M-I-G-R-A-T-E, if you move to a different country, you immigrate. For example, if you are Canadian and you immigrate to Italy, you are not on vacation, you are making Italy your new home. Immigrate definition, when a person immigrates, he or she moves to a new country. During the Great Wave of Immigration between 1880 and 1924, over 25 million Europeans immigrated to the United States. That's an example, right? And then we have migrate. Now, this is the question, the main question I want to ask, that no one's really asking. And I'm having a really tough time finding the definition or a clear. This is, oh, you got Google, you can look anything up. Well, there's one thing you're not going to find. I've been asking this question and I can't find a clear answer. And from what I was taught, migration is illegal. Yes, migration is illegal. Immigration is legal. Migration is actually illegal. It's not even allowed. Migration is not allowed. It's illegal. And I can't find for the life of me on Google. It's got everything. You type into Google, is migration legal? Question mark. Is migration legal? Rewording it. Trying to figure out, is migration legal? I know, but I can't prove it to you because I can't find it. Migration is illegal. And what this document is doing, is legalizing, from what I've read here, in this final draft of the Global Compact for Migration, is they're legalizing it. Yes, we're live, guys. If anybody's watching this right now, yes, we are live. Tonight is Monday night for the Western Seaboard, and it is Tuesday for the rest of the world. Today's December 12th on my end, and it's December 11th for most of the world. Guys, okay, Global Compact for Migration is basically, in my opinion, from what I'm trying to kind of piece together here and trying to figure out while I was sitting on the toilet, trying to figure this out, it's almost like they're trying to legalize migration because migration is illegal. I can't find it for the life of me. I went on. Google's got everything. I went on every different source and definition of word, and they can't answer. Google can't answer a simple question for me. I gotta get that Google that talks, because I know migration is illegal, and this thing is gonna legalize it. I know that's not pop. I had someone comment saying, why are you drinking so much soda for? I'm like, no, I took a pile of raspberries I had in the fridge that were starting to turn, crushed it up with some ice, and put a pile of water in there. Ooh, Tastes like nice and oxidy. So it's called the Calerigi plan. It is so obvious you have ingested the red pill. Okay, so I think this thing here, this Global Compact for Migration Pact plan, is to legalize migration. Now, I went through the countries and countries that are signing on to it and countries that are part of it and how this is a sustainable, non-binding pact that basically gives a motion to move forward. It's a discussion piece to start moving forward. Now, the problem with the best part is all the countries that are not signing this are making this migration pact nil, voided, because the less countries that sign, guess what happens? The less it looks valid. So now that the United States is not signing this, and Australia, and I think New Zealand, they're not signing this, it makes it very clear that this global migration, compact for migration, piece of paper is completely worthless. And the more countries that don't sign and don't jump on, because I think I spoke to a cabinet minister for the Dominican Republic this morning. Very early in the morning, I spoke to a gentleman there in Spanish and was asking me what I think of this. And I said, you're going to have 1 million Haitians at your door once you sign this. Yeah, you're right, Mike. We just wanted to know your opinion on it. So I got people call me. I get people call me from all over the place. And usually it's in Portuguese from Africa. Usually it's ministers in African parliament asking opinions on signing a draft or implementing a law or putting something into... Anyways, I'm not going to get into that right now. Anyways, let me get to my point here. Migration is illegal, but why do they want to legalize it? Now, I went through the Geneva Migration Code Law, blah, 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 and in it... Where'd it go? Damn, did I lose it? I think I lost it. Basically, what it said is... Is it there? No. Okay, basically what it said is... migrants must stay in the first country they land in from the country they are exiting. Okay, so when somebody leaves, whatever first country they land in, whether they're on foot, by car, by bus, by plane, by carrier pigeon, it doesn't matter. The first country they land in, that's the country that they're leaving as a zone of pain, is the country they must stay in. Now, one country that I'm not seeing in this whole thing that's kind of a ghost in this whole thing is Israel. And it's kind of bizarre that Israel wants so badly to be a country or be recognized as an independent country or a state or an independent province from the rest of the Middle East that it is trying its best to avoid or not even exist on this. So they're like that. Israel would be one of the best countries for it because, one, they're in the Middle East, and a lot of these migrants coming from these parts of the world don't have to cross oceans to get to Europe and this and take airplanes. It's so dangerous. So Israel would be a really good, really, really, really good country. And this would be fantastic for because it's in the Middle East and it would help a lot of people. So Walking Journey left me another YouTube video. Buddy, I can't play other people's YouTube videos for copyright laws. I could play your videos because you won't flag it as copyright. But if I play someone else's video... Okay, so this is it right here. I read through part of it. The Global Compact is a milestone in history of the global dialogue and international cooperation on migration. It is rooted in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, and informed by the Declaration of High-Level Dialogue on International Migration and Development adopted in October 2013. It builds on a pioneering work of former Special Representative of the Secretary General, development, including report on the 3rd of February 2017. So here it is. The Global Compact represents a non-legally binding framework that builds on the commitments agreed upon the member states in the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants. It fosters international cooperation among all relevant actors on migration, acknowledging that the state can address migration alone and upholds the sovereignty of states of their obligations under international law. So, I wonder if, I think Mexico did sign this thing. So hold on, let me get to the page I want to get to here. Objective, safe, orderly, and regular migration. So they basically, if you're just tuning in, migration is illegal. Go ahead and look it up. You won't find it. You go on Google. Is migration, not immigration, not emigration, migration. Go ahead and type it in. Is migration legal? They won't give you a straight answer. They'll give you a bunch of crap. Good old internet. That's why people need to archive. Archive. Keep knowledge. Keep books. Save newspaper clippings. Archive. So here's the problem we have here. They want to legalize migration in a pact because it's illegal. Is this making any sense? This is my theory. And I could be 1,000,000% wrong on this. So this section here is very important. Objectives for safe, orderly, and regular migration. Collect and utilize accurate and disaggregated data on basis of evidence based on policies. Minimize the adverse drivers and structural factors that compel people to leave their country of origin. So basically, they need to come up with a memo on explaining this stuff. Provide accurate and timely information at all stages of migration. Ensure that all migrants have proof of legal identity and adequate documentation. Enhance availability and flexible pathways for regular migration. Facilitate fair and ethical recruitment and safeguard conditions that ensure decent work. But here's the problem. The people here right now don't have work. So, okay. Address and reduce vulnerabilities in migration. Number 8, save lives, establish coordinated international efforts on missing migrants. Number 9, strengthen the transnational response to smuggling of migrants. Number 10, prevent, combat, and eradicate trafficking in persons and contacts of international migration. Number 11, manage borders in an integrated, secure, and coordinated manner. And this part right here. Strengthen international cooperation and global partnership for the safe and orderly of regular migration. So basically, what they want to do with this is legalize migration, even though it's illegal. So here's the deal. If I want to leave Canada, and let's say I want to go to Congo or Somalia or somewhere, okay? Would this work for me on that end? Saying I want to leave Canada because there's no jobs and it's a really tough country to make it in and we're just working to pay bills, we're not getting ahead. What would happen if I show up in Somalia and I tried using this? You know? So people in the comment sections are going nuts. So this is it right here, guys. This is the legalization of the Global Compact. Now, we need to urge countries not to sign this. And I'll tell you why, in my opinion. Because the less and less countries that sign on to this makes this document irrelevant. The validity goes out the window. Because once you get Australia, the United States of America and a couple of countries not to join this thing. I think it's Belgium, Poland. There's a couple of them that don't want to join this thing. You'll start to see that the validity of this this law or pact they're trying to put in place. So here it is: immigrate, immigrate, and migrate. The difference. And people, the language is getting skewed. So here, is migration legal? Nothing. It goes to a Wikipedia ad or Wikipedia crap and doesn't talk about how migration works. Is it legal? One simple question: is migration legal? I went into law book. I went into migration advice. I went into Migrant United Nations Educational Scientific. I went into everything. Nothing's giving me a straight answer. Is migration legal? I know it's illegal. I know it's illegal. And I know that this thing is going to legalize it. And the less amount of countries that sign on to this, the better it is, because it makes the validity of the document worthless. All right, let's hit up some comments here in the comment section. People are talking about Jesus. Mysterious Blue Space Entity says Trudeau just spat in our faces by letting Hussein sign it. So Canada does not have an option to flee. Sean Bowen is saying this will bury Canada. Well, here's the thing. I'm really lucky I have my dual citizenship. If they start passing a law saying you cannot carry a dual citizenship anymore because of people like myself that could say, I'm going to the Azores. Screw everybody. Screw you. Screw everybody. Lights out. I'm gone. Take my kids, move to the Azores, right? But here's the problem. Oh, well, you know, if you're in Canada, you got to keep one citizenship now. It's going to be the new law. I'm like, whoa, what? Whoa. What do you mean? Then it's time. Then I wouldn't want to die here. I would have to move on. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into who signed the pact and who's not signing the pact, who's in and who's out. So we're gonna get into this. Okay, what is the UN Migration Pact and why do some oppose it? The UN Global Compact for Migrants set out non-binding guidelines for an integrated approach to international migration. So they want to basically picture it as a global currency. Picture it as a way as, okay, we're having problems with currency and different currencies and, different currencies flooding markets. So we're just going to make one currency. Well, this way they make one migration pattern where people could go from different countries. So it's already pre-set. And there's little hindrance for migrants leaving their country. And it's a lot easier for people to move around. Basically, it's like a universal thing for migrants. The DW looks at the agreement and why some nations are vehemently against it. The UN Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, Regular Migration marks the first time in the world body has agreed to a list of global measures to tackle the risks and challenges involved in migration for individual migrants, and in the same time to maximize benefits for the countries taking in immigrants. How does it, like, if the people aren't working here and the people that can't find a job here aren't being taxed on their labor to submit to the infrastructure, how could this benefit? Okay, the agreement comes in huge numbers of people across the world, often driven by conflict and poverty, and leaving their countries of origin to seek refuge elsewhere. But not all countries agree with the compact's basic tenets and have been vocal to their opposition. Czech Prime Minister questioned the UN Migration Pact after Austria exit. Finalized UN member states July 13, 2013, and is scheduled to be adopted by December Intergovernmental Conference in Marrakesh, Morocco, which is today. Yesterday, actually. Follow the money. What are EU's migration policy priorities. What is that? Let's see what this is. I didn't see this. Follow the money. What are the EU's migration policy priorities? From tackling the root causes of migration and fighting traffic. Again, it goes back on the same thing. So basically, they want to set up a way where people could migrate into another country more freely with less hindrance, and setting up trust fund priorities to improve migration management, greater economic employment opportunities, strengthen resilience without category, and improved governance and conflict prevention. So these are all the places here. These are all the different routes. There's the EU budget and integration versus security. Oof. This thing goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Well, somebody sent me a super chat. Kimberly Edwards. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, this is complicated. This is very complicated. And that's what they usually do. They complicate the crap out of stuff. They complicated the crap out of stuff, so it leaves you chasing your own tail. I know they're legalizing this bill because migration is illegal. Could someone leave a link below, please? Could someone leave a link? Is migration legal? I just want that question answered. I know migration is illegal. I could bet my left nut that migration is illegal. And this stupid document is going to legalize it. Let's go back to where we were. Here we go. Let's look it up again. Is migration legal? I keep getting this crap. Keep getting immigration law crap. There, let's check this handbook here. Law handbook. It's going to try and sell me something. Watch. This has to do with Australia, and it has nothing to do whether a migration is legal or illegal. So we'll leave that on the back burner. Hopefully somebody can leave us a link below. UN Migration Pact is not legally binding for Canada. Here's what it will do. Okay, so if you're living in Canada, open your ears. Canada is among several countries preparing to approve the United Nations Agreement on Migration next week. Of course they are! Of course! Canada's paving the way, leading the torchlight. Sean Bowen says, a country without borders is not a country. And you know what the sad part is? Is they work so hard. Our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents worked our lives to protect our borders, to protect. You know how many people's lives were lost, let's say in the last 100 years, simply protecting their border of their country? No one ever looks at that. I believe in the last 100 years, more people died protecting their borders, whether if you're on Cambodia, Thailand border, whether you're on China, India border. I believe that more people have sacrificed their lives to protect their borders of their countries than all the last 2 major or 3 major world wars combined. And that's how sacred and important a border is to a country. I believe in closed borders. I believe in proper immigration. You know, I did it by the book. I went to the U.S. I had a company ready. I had a company rolling there. I had everything going. I had a tax ID number. I did everything by the book. I got a lawyer. I waited the whole 5 years. I paid thousands of dollars to a lawyer. Went to the interview and they said, we're not looking for your kind right now. I'm like, okay. I didn't fight it. It's not my country. If the United States does not want me there, that's fine. I just went to Canada and opened a department store in a mall in downtown Vancouver. Then I sold that, a few years back, if you watch my channel. But I went through the book, and I did everything by the book. I did everything, I have no criminal background. I've never committed any crimes. I've never done anything. But I unfortunately went to the meeting, and they said, unfortunately, we're not bringing in your people right now to apply back again in 5 years. So I said, that's okay, no problem. When I applied to live in America. But I did everything by the book. You see what I'm saying? So, okay, so Quark Nog says you have to do a proper screening process, criminal check, initial check, immunization check, etc., etc. So here's the deal with that. When my parents, well, I did all that when I applied for the U.S. I did a whole physical, I did a whole thing check and all that stuff, and then I made sure I wasn't taking a job from an American, because what happened was, I had to do a background like I had to do, what was it again? America. What was it again? I had to do something where I had to run ads for 6 months in 5 different newspapers to make sure I'm not taking an American's job. You know what I'm saying? So I did everything by the book, you know, and I wasn't taking an American's job when I applied for what I was doing in the United States when I applied for citizenship there. But now it's like an open revolving door now. It's like, what the heck is going on? I thought every country would be like this. Like, you want to get in, good luck, right? Type of thing. So, here's Canada, the torchlight.
On one of the important issues around the world, which is migrations and immigration. We are demonstrating that rigorous systems and an open policy actually leads to economic growth and economic advantages and stronger communities, and being able to do this in a way that shows global leadership and of course does not impinge upon our own sovereignty is something I think Canadians can be proud of.
So that's that. So it's supposed to make Canada stronger. I'm not sure, like some economic bigwig or some economic expert or some economic, someone that understands the economic migration patterns could maybe sit me down and educate me, and then, or maybe come on the show and educate us how this would help Canada economically. Canada is among several countries preparing to approve a United Nations agreement on migration next week. The Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, Regular Migration set to be approved in Morocco, which is today, guys. It was like today it passed. Will be the first intergovernmental negotiated agreement under the UN to cover all dimensions of international migration. But despite some recent confusion, it won't be legally binding. Okay, but here's the deal. Like I started at the beginning. Here's the deal. Migration is illegal. I know it's illegal. Wow, somebody, Kimberly Edward keeps sending me another $5. Mike, it needs to be called Global Compact because it's the world's biggest con. Feel free to use this, folks. That's exactly what it is. But now, the tiny problem we're having, and this is. They never asked us if we wanted to do this. You see, America's not signing this. Donald Trump said, screw you guys, we're not signing this. This is a bad deal. This is horrible. Why the hell would I sign this? Same thing with the Polish minister. What am I signing this for? Are you out of your tree? Did you even read this thing?
Actually, we need to unlock the phone first.
It's Google. She's talking to me. Hold on, let me see.
Which one?
Hi, Bixby. Okay, let's see if she's here. Bixby? Bisbee? Are you there? Can you hear me? Is migration legal?
International Migration Law, which is the international legal framework governing migration, is not covered by any one legal instrument or norm. Instead, IML is an umbrella term covering a variety of principles and rules that together regulate the international obligations of states with regard to migrants.
It still didn't really answer my question. Is migration legal? Is migration legal?
International international migration law, which is the international legal framework governing migration, is not covered by any one legal...
Okay, she's not answering my question. She won't answer my question. Okay, Quark is saying migration is legal, immigration is legal. That's correct. Yes, we know that. So, Field Marshal in the house, everybody in the house here. Someone saying, Mike, if I walked across the North Korean border, do you think I would get... no, you won't get shot. And I'll tell you why. Because there's only like 2 ways to get in across the border from South to North Korea. And getting across, it's not like you're crossing through the Sierra Madres, through some desert, in an isolated place. You will be seen by cameras. You would be seen and approached by people. You just can't go from South to North Korea just easily. There's a huge fence along the border. There's you can't. You just can't. You'll be stopped, is what I'm saying. You'll be stopped and frisked before you even get to the North Korean side. You won't be shot, though. There you go. eBankQ says, I was at the DMZ at the border. Was no big deal. Okay, so they've all agreed on the set of indicators for the best practices, and ideally they will lead to better cooperation toward common goals in international community, he said. This sounds like the whole New World Order mumbo-jumbo crap that came out. So I do have some good news. Here, what's this puppet here? Commission European Objective 17 agreement to be criticized. It reads, countries should promote independent, objective quality and reporting the media outlets, including sensitizing and educating media professionals on migration-related issues and terminology. So I guess they want to change the language. Let's see what this guy here has to say.
Stress.
Oh, there's an ad here for Secret. Oh, she's keeping those pits dry. Yeah, literally, put the fan there. Okay, stress sweat protection. Yeah, get more cancer. Does your company need... Oh, add 2 of 3? 3 ads? What the hell's the BDC? Here we go.
Towards our partners in Africa, that we really want to cooperate at an equal base with them in order to address this challenge. So, although some countries do not agree on that, I make a last call on them to rethink and reconsider their position. Because, as I said, it is in the interest of Europe, of the member states, and of all countries directly or indirectly involved in migration. I want to be frank with you. I would prefer all member states to fully agree on a common position. It is not the case. You said before that some member states are not willing to be part of it.
Let's see what France has to say. France is on fire right now. Let's see what the Chooch government, president of France has to say, what Mr. Chooch has to say here. I'd like to see what Chooch has to say now with his country falling apart. Let's go.
Une meilleure coopération internationale.
No one speaks French. This Macron guy is under a lot of stress right now. His country falling apart and hundreds of thousands of uprisings and riots in Lyon, and all other places. Field Marshal saying Macron is evil. You better believe it. Kimberly Edwards says, I watch live today. The huge corporations are kicking in hundreds of billion for global migration. Cheap labor for them, and illegals need welfare. A middle economy and cultures are forever destroyed. And then Sean Bowen says that was a macaroni and cheese speech. So Mike Martin's father, which is not my father, one, my father doesn't speak English and can't type in English, so so that's not real. And Andrea Nikitha, Israel was established in 1948 on Palestinian land. We all know that. Canada's just going into the Middle East, taking someone's land and calling it Canada, LOL. Sean Bowen says he did as Trudeau would lip service. Peter in the comments saying the European armies need to mobilize on behalf of their peoples and crush these globalists. You keep saying immigration is illegal. No, migration is illegal. Immigration is legal. Migration is 100% illegal. It's always been illegal. And my proof is this right here. Is migration legal? You don't get a straight answer anywhere. And I know in the UN Geneva Pact, migration is illegal. And according to the UN Geneva Pact, I'm not sure what section it is, it states exactly that migrants must stay in the first country that they land in. So that is what the law is, but they're massaging it and changing things, right? UN Migration Pact agreed by more than 150 countries. Several countries since July have pulled support for the Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration. Oh, the President of Germany, or the Chancellor of Germany. There she is there. There she is there. Majority of UN states adopted on Monday a non-binding, which was today's date, guys, global pact to better handle migrant flows. Morocco's foreign minister said, though fewer governments joined than previously worked on the proposal. Foreign Minister Nasser Barouti announced the decision as a host of the UN conference in the Marrakesh. There was no formal vote. In July, all 193 UN members except the United States finalized the so-called Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration to better handle migration. Again, so here, arrests. 9 arrested during protests against UN Migration Pact on Parliament Hill. How a global pact on migration spawned sovereignty fears in Canada. Since then, the text has come under fire from most right-wing European politicians who say it could increase immigration from Africa and Arab countries. At least 6 European Union members, mostly informally communist Eastern Europe, have shunned the accord. Of course it's the communists that don't want to join this. It's the communists. It's all communism. They don't want to join none of this. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, it's gonna be very interesting on what's gonna happen. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I was supposed to live in Mozambique. I was supposed to live in Portuguese Africa. And my dad was living in Africa at the time, and we were supposed to live in Portuguese Africa. Portuguese Africa are very advanced. Airports, malls, strip clubs, nightclubs, nightlife. And because Portugal refused, the Portuguese Empire refused to join the world banking system, all our countries became destabilized. We lost everything. We lost Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau. We lost everything. And these were countries that Europeans were moving to in the tens of thousands. Before you laugh at me or make fun of me, okay? I'll bring up articles just so you guys. Portuguese leave for Angola work. Let's see if we can find articles just so you guys see what I'm talking about. Let's see if we get some old news here. See, lots of Portuguese, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, from Portugal, white Europeans, went to Angola and Mozambique. A lot of my family went in the early 2000s for work. Here's what you need to know about Angola. Portuguese territory. I'm just trying to see of and all I'm saying is that I really wish people understood that this whole migration thing is a two-way thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a two-way thing. You know, we wanted to have our business in Mozambique, and we wanted to. My aunt has a business there still, and a hotel in Mozambique. So a lot of Portuguese went to Mozambique during the great European famine back in the early 2000s. So tons of Portuguese. Here we go. Portuguese migrants seek better opportunities in former colony. So how Portuguese is in Mozambique. And it talks about our youth, our future, Portuguese, my story in Portuguese. And people returning. Look, Portuguese seeks jobs in former colonies. Tens of thousands of us went to Portuguese Africa in the 2000s. Well, I mean, after all the wars been settled, after the Dutch, the French, the English basically destroyed our countries, we went back. We started going back after. We started going back. So I saw an entrance in the early 2000s to go back to Mozambique. Migrate, because I have family there, and I still do have family there, in the capital. And I was going to manage a massive hotel and a nightclub and all that stuff. But then a couple other things happen, and, you know. But this migration thing is two sides. It's not just people from Africa coming to Canada. It's also the former Portuguese wanting to go back into Angola and Mozambique, which a lot of them did. Tens of thousands, of hundreds of thousands. Look, all products must be labeled in Portuguese, Mozambican authorities. Everything must be labeled, because it's you know. But anyways, I kind of wanted to put this out there. I know. But I wanted to show the other side of the whole migration thing. You know, my side of it, right? Because there's my side, right? So let's go back. Okay, let's go here. Let's close this. Let's close this. Let's close this. There's macaroni and cheese there. It's the communist countries don't want this migration thing. You know what I'm saying? Sean Bowen has a very, very good question. Mike, what do Canadians who can't leave do? Okay, now, my question is, let's rephrase that question. Is it Canadians that can't afford to leave the country, or is it Canadians that have a bit of savings and can jump on a plane and hopefully do something somewhere else? Because it's very important that we ask the right questions here. Because yes, leaving the country is one thing, but financially financed, you know what I'm saying? It's the communist countries. Canadian Immigration Minister Aman Hussein said compact services is useful framework for the source, destination, and transit countries for migration, and stressed it is legally binding on the nations that sign it. No, it's not. This is 100% not legal. I know migration's illegal. Yeah, okay. Quark is saying, Mike Martins, can you examine Trudeau's people kind comment? I sincerely believe that he was serious with that comment, even though he said it was a joke later. You see, everything here's the deal, guys. Everything Western, whether it's law, whether it's like all words, phrasements of words and stuff, majority of it comes from biblical or from Catholic principles. You know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery. A lot of these countries are based off Catholic principles, like should not steal and blah, 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 and, you know, based off that. The Ten Commandments, the whole, you know what I'm saying, right? And mankind, I believe it has to do with how people are forgetting that man created woman by Adam and the whole 9 yards. I think there's some sort of validity to that. And that's why it's called mankind, right? That's why woman will always, it says man in it because she came from a man. That's why it's woman. And then that will never be forgotten. But I'm not going to get biblical here. I'm just saying. So trying to change the whole framework of our entire thoughts and understanding and perspectives is crazy. So I don't know if Peter's there. I don't know if Peter's still there. I don't know, Petey, if you're there, let me know if you want to call in. You could help us weigh in on what the heck is going on here. And guys, don't forget to join me on Mike and Trends in the Housing Market this Wednesday night. We're going to be covering what's happening with the interest-only mortgages that are coming up for renewal in Australia, and what the heck is going on in Australia and all that other stuff. Just going through here real quick. Okay, people. Let's see if PD's here. I hope Peter doesn't get arrested. There he is. Let's see if we can see Peter here. Well, you can see me. Peter, you there, buddy? Can I see you? I'm trying to get this to work on my... Let's see if I can see Petey here. This is my other camera. See, people, I got several cameras going on here. I'm trying to see if I can see Peter here. See if I can see Petey here. Petey, are you there, buddy? Petey? I don't think it's working on the computer. I'm gonna have to let him talk on speakerphone. I'll let him talk on speakerphone. Petey, you there, buddy? He's got no audio. Peter, are you there, bud? No dice. No audio. All right. Mr. E, are you there? Oh, Mr. E's there too. Mr. E, if you could call in too, give us a... Petey, you there? No audio. Peter, you there? We got no audio with Peter. Evan, can you call me in? Call me in, buddy. We're getting no audio with Peter for some reason. Zero audio. Let me just I want to exit Skype from my computer. I don't know why it's on my computer. It probably jumped on there for some reason. Okay, so there's Evan here. Evan, are you there?
I am, Mr.
Okay.
Mike.
Okay.
How are you?
I wasn't sure if it was my Skype or was Peter's audio. I think his audio isn't working.
Well, what technology is, Mike. It's built to spy on you, not to help you.
Of course. We're going to maybe on Mike in the Night this Saturday, we'll talk about how a lot of countries are not signing up with 5G, Huawei 5G, because it's a good spying technique for the Chinese.
The old Huawei, yes, very popular brand at the moment, ZTE and Huawei. No one wants to go the Huawei. They want to go their own way.
That's
Except
right.
when it comes to migration pacts, Mike. And they all follow suit.
So what the heck is going on here? Why is it just the communist countries are not refusing to join this? According to this article.
Oh, well, to be fair, Mike, I mean, once you've got a free trade agreement, the number one stipulation above all else is the free transport of labour, which includes people. So you've got migrants already that are legalised. I don't think they're trying to legalise it. I think they're trying to normalise it to the point where, I just want a discussion about these migrants, and then they'll divide the people, and then they'll tax the people, and then they'll punish the people for discussing it. Because in that pact, Mike, if you read down near the communications part, there's a section on communications, you'll see that you can't really criticise migration after you sign that pact. Canadian media companies have already been told that. So have a lot of other European Parliament countries.
I saw it here.
That's quite interesting.
Okay, can you answer my one question before we go into criticism? Yes. Is migration legal?
If you're a bird, it's legal, Mike. People don't have as much of a right as a flying south bird, though, do we? We've got a lot of restrictions on us by the powers that be. Okay,
so it's illegal. Migration is illegal.
Should be, yes.
Okay.
Otherwise you don't have a border, do you?
Right. Okay, that's what and what this stupid thing, this piece of crap document I'm looking at here, what they're trying to do is, like you said, normalize migration, but not legalize it.
That's right, and when they normalise it, they'll get perks over other people, you see. And once they've got perks over other people, in order to move around, they'll have to be tagged and traced and everything like that. They'll have chips or an ID card, and then they'll say to the local population, they'll say, well, these ID cards work so well for migrants, we better just chip everybody then. Sounds like a good backdoor to getting everyone chipped, so we know where everyone is at all times. And then you can centralise currencies. A lot of options, Mike. No shortage of options there.
But this is... Okay, so what is the deal here? What is the deal? What does the common citizen get out of this?
Well, they get a kick in the face mostly, Mike. They don't particularly care about the common citizen. The less rights you have, the better. Because then there's less resistance to the power structure, which they're building right now. And they're using foreign invasion and all the emotions that go behind that. Oh, it's sad because they're poor, to take away what little rights people had left, if they had rights at all. Okay,
now. So, how would this work for me? Like, let's say I want to migrate to... I already told you my story. I tried to when I was offered a job in my aunt's hotel in Mozambique, and as a Portuguese, I would just migrate to Mozambique because we have a migration law between the two countries, right? And and a Portuguese could go into parts of Africa with no hindrance, right?
Correct.
Isn't that what they're doing here, or what is this?
This is a double standard, Mike. You see, they're going to not bring in people that they can manipulate easily who are entirely dependent on the system, and the people who thought the system was beholden to them, they're going to be squeezed out of every major position, like they are. You know, oh, congratulations, look how stunning and brave it is. We've got a Somali congresswoman. But I thought when you entered America and you became a citizen, you should just become an American, right? But apparently, magic dirt does not exist, Mike. The old magic dirt theory, ever heard that one?
Yeah.
You go to Japan, suddenly you're Japanese. You go to Portugal, you're suddenly Portuguese. Doesn't really work that way, but that's the argument they're using. If you cross the border from Mexico to America and touch that magic dirt, suddenly your life gets better. That's what they're saying.
But that's an illusion.
That it might... It is delusion, but it's used to push this agenda forward. They'll use any means they can. Usually emotional manipulation is their favourite. They do it with gusto, I can tell you right now.
Okay, so I get what's happening. I get what this. So now, what is the common citizen is getting basically a kick in the face, and why didn't they ask citizens of their country that we're going to be passing or signing on to an act or a bill that's basically going to destroy your future? Why wouldn't they ask the people that? I think, don't the citizens don't these parliament leaders have a responsibility to their constituents?
Well, no, because they take oaths to, secretive organizations, don't they, Mike? Last I checked. They join the Masons or the secret clubs, Bohemian Grove, any number of stupid clubs they join. And you know for a fact, Mike, it's even in the Bible, you cannot serve two masters, and yet they try to. So they won't ask anybody, Mike, because they don't have to. They're not actually working for the people. They're just on the stage with their puppets and their sock puppets telling you to listen to them, and people listen. That's the disturbing part. People listen without even thinking. They think, oh, they're just like me. And turns out they're not.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Come from a completely different cloth, Mike.
So, what countries have you heard of that haven't joined? I know I spoke to a member of parliament from Dominican Republic.
Yes.
And
I think Poland certainly won't. Hungary definitely won't. Anyone on the Eastern Bloc definitely won't. Russia takes in migrants all the time, so I guess they'll fold as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. But wouldn't worry too much, Mike.
I heard
resistance and use that as polarization.
But I heard a lot of Asian countries are not signing on to this too.
Well, they won't, because they've got their own bloc, don't they? They've got the Asian Accord already. That's ASEAN, capital letters. They've already got their movement pact, which is very restrictive. Try and get into Singapore. Good luck. Try and get into China. Good luck.
Okay.
Very, very restrictive. They try to live in Thailand legally.
Oh, you can't live in Thailand legally. Even Mexico, you can't. You can't.
Yes.
Okay,
Difficult.
Here's an updated list. Okay, Australia, Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Republika Czech, Hungary, Italy, Israel, Poland, Switzerland, Slovakia had all suggested that they might not sign the agreement. So is it what I was saying earlier, the less and less countries that do sign on to this makes this pact less and less valid because it just doesn't hold its own weight? Because
not at all. What it does is it divides people along a discussion line, like they always do, with whether it's homosexuality, vaccinations, or whatever, and you get the people at war with each other, while both sides, don't have your interests at heart. Like the Polish government might look good, but it still doesn't have the interest at heart of the Polish people. The moment the Polish people let their guard down, the government will sweep in with all the restrictions the rest of the world has. Same with Russia, same with anywhere. You give them an inch, and they will take a mile.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
They all work together.
Now, this is a very delicate situation because there was laws put into place into migration to prevent this from happening, but now they're putting in. So isn't the law okay? We brought up the Geneva Act. I don't know how many times in the show. But isn't it the first country you land in as a migrant from a zone of pain or a zone of destruction? Isn't it the first country you land in is the country you must stay in?
I don't think it's even landing, Mike. It's supposed to be the next immediate country you go to that's not at war. So whichever country that would be. If Germany's at war, you could go to Denmark, Dutchland. You could go to Luxembourg if Germany were at war, but you couldn't go all the way to Australia. Unless, I mean, depending on the wording of the document, you'd have to interpret it very carefully. It's like the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. Most Americans aren't Americans, Mike, because they're not posterity. They came later. The Bill of Rights is only for the posterity, the settlers of America. People don't even talk about that. But it depends on how documents are interpreted. And on top of that, it depends on what you've convinced people documents mean. And I doubt the general population has been looking at this in as much detail as you, Mike.
So I think what's going to happen is the Conservative Party in Canada is already building their platform, saying, we vote us in and we will remove ourselves from this migration pact is the first thing we'll do. So I think the opposing party in Canada now has a really good platform to get themselves in.
Oh yes, you'll have that divide, and what you'll do is you'll have what's called the bait and switch. You make one party look really stupid, and then you prop up the other party. We're gonna change everything, and everything stays the same every single election cycle. It's as if there are, two masks on a two-headed bird, left wing and right wing, Mike. What we call conservative is not what they are. Mm-hmm. They are very much elite. Most people up in the top there. Okay.
Bulgaria will shun the UN Migrant Pact. In Sofia, Bulgaria will not join the United Nations Accord on regulating the treatment of migrants worldwide and would not attend the conference marking its formal adoption in Morocco next week. Its center-right government decided on Wednesday. Okay, here's the deal. Isn't Bulgaria better off just being an island? I know it's not an island, but isn't it better off just being... Nowadays, with all this crap happening, with these tariffs and trade crap, and all this Mickey Mouse and this migration patterns of people, aren't you better off as a country completely being isolated like Cuba was? Aren't you better off? I think you'd make more headway as a country if you just cut yourself off the rest of the world.
Well, it requires that you become more self-reliant that way, does it not?
Well, I mean, when I spent 6 months in Cuba. When I was in Cuba, it was still under Castro rule. And the country was very self-reliant. They kept saying, oh, people starving in Cuba, this and that. I went to every state in Cuba except Guantanamo Bay. And let me tell you, infrastructure, highways, hospitals, towns, people working, farming, military camp, not encampments, but military camps. You see soldiers practicing, doing military drills. You see fishermen fishing. You see all kinds. Cuba was very self-reliant, and it was given no technology and no automotives, except cars came in from Russia, like Ladas and stuff. But I spent a good 6 months in Cuba, and I had observed Cuba and how it was very isolated but very unified, how the people were so unified there and grateful that they weren't part of this whole bigger agenda. That's what I just saw.
Well, here's the thing, they're looking after their fundamentals. What are the things you need? You need food, you need water and things like that. But these days in the decadent West, we have a big problem with not even looking after the fundamentals. They'll let the infrastructure that's required to ship the food and is required to move the water to crumble and burn, but they'll have no shortage of money to push forward their degenerate agenda because they don't care about what's good. They only want to promote what's bad. And that's why people have a hard time wrapping their head around these policies they put through, because they make no sense to anybody unless you're malicious and you really want to ruin everybody. Then they make perfect sense. But most people aren't malicious at heart. They grow that way with indoctrination.
No one's born into crime, into criminality. No one's born into it. It's just a choice that people make in life.
That's right. They learn it along the way.
So I think America, America has the right thing. There's so much going against the American Constitution. I think that one little piece of paper, that American Constitution, I think it's holding the world together. Because once America loses, or they start changing their constitution, I think the rest of the world, Canada will start changing its constitution. All the other countries that adapted a constitution in the 1980s or 70s, whenever they indoctrined their constitution just for the sake of having one, I think it's so transparent it makes no sense. But the American one is, I think, is what's keeping the rest of the world at bay. I think it's what we have left on this planet is the American Constitution and Bill of Rights. I think once we lose that, even me as a Canadian, I'm in fear of the United States losing that. Because once they lose that, I think it's just going to be like this migration pact thing, where they're going to start globalizing things more in a sense where all countries are created equal in a way where it looks good on paper and it looks like every country will have something to gain if they join this. But in the reality sense of it, it's more control, less travel, no freedom of speech, no right to bear arms. I think things will collapse. What do you think?
Well, there are two constitutions they are in fear of. One of them's a lot smaller, and it's in the country I'm in. Hong Kong has its own mini constitution, which the rest of the world hates because it's very free and liberating. It's called the Basic Law, and it keeps everyone free and happy. But unfortunately, they've been eroding that day by day too, with more Chinese influence and more Chinese people. But then again, to be fair, a lot of the Chinese that come over here are the well-educated type of people, and they're actually quite switched on, and that's why they don't want to live in China under the oppressive rule of the communists, which is becoming more oppressive by the day.
Yes.
And they're going to use a divide, aren't they, Mike, between America and China?
If I send you a press pass, like a proper legal press pass to wear around your neck to go into mainland China, maybe to cover one or two stories when the president's talking there, would you go?
Quite a trip, Mike. Quite a trip, and cost $100 across the border each time, US.
Who cares?
I'm, technically an Australian. However, there are ways around these things. I certainly could, but they wouldn't let me in the building. I'd stick out like a sore thumb. I'd be this 6'4" tall gorilla swinging my arms around and taking notes furiously. I think they might catch on to our little trick, Mike.
But hold on a sec. They'll be asking you, what are you here for? What's your representation? I'm here for Mike Martin's channel. Like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? They'll be like,
well, that might keep us safe. I do. I'd say I'm here for handheld junkie, Mike. Then they'd be even more confused.
Yes, they will. Yes.
I'll pull out my Game Boy Advance and try and explain it to them, and then I end up in jail with nothing to play.
Yeah, you got to watch out. But, it would be nice to get somebody on the ground, because I'd like to know what's happening, because this whole saber rattling of the president of China is not looking good. And if I was a citizen of China, I would be looking at the exit myself. So...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But here's the thing, Mike. If I were to do a press pass thing, immediately I'd have government minders shadowing me, because Chinese are quite paranoid about that, and they're well within their rights to do so.
Mm-hmm.
When they shadow you while you're walking around China, the moment you cross the border, they'll have someone watching you the entire time. These days, they're incredibly paranoid at the moment, and they're getting all their military propaganda up in full swing. So it will be quite interesting to see what will be happening in the coming weeks, because it seems like they're gearing America up with that $750 billion budget, and China's, red-penned all sorts of ridiculous budgets for their military and all that stuff they're buying off the Russians.
Yeah, I heard about that. Okay. Denmark's immigration minister to skip international meeting on UN's migration pact. Again, Denmark skipping on this too.
Denmark putting all their migrants on an island too.
Yes, we talked about that on Saturday, right? On Mike in the Night.
I heard about it. I had to watch from afar, Mike. I was tied up somewhere, probably in a jail somewhere. I was, Mike.
Oh, that's right. You weren't on Mike in the Night. It was Peter. We were talking about that island. Yeah.
Well, that's right, but it's a good idea. I mean, historically in Hong Kong, when the Vietnamese came over, from the Vietnam War. You had all these refugees, and they did the sensible thing of sticking them on this state-of-the-art fortress island and not letting them on the mainland, because the moment they did, they started committing crimes. They all got stuck on an island. Unfortunately, these days, they don't seem to want to use that island. They've got all these humanitarian organizations saying, oh, my feelings, you have to listen to me. And that seems to be the, order of the day. It's
Okay, very important question. This is a very important question. Why is Israel not part of this? Israel should be first country to sign. One, Israel wants to be a country so badly and want to be observed as its independent country with its own capital and its own airport. That's great. But why aren't they joining this? Because they're in the Middle East. They could take in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of migrants. Why won't they sign this?
Well, probably the same as Turkey. Like when the migrants were walking to Germany all those years ago, when the brown tide started to rise, the Turkish had all these tents ready for them, and no one ever occupied them. They went straight to Germany for handouts, and they were allowed to. The people didn't kick up a stink, you see. The people weren't lynching their leadership. So the government says, oh, you said nothing, that's tacit approval. Israel has the double standard, of course. They've got, America's special ally status and all that other jazz. So it could very well be that they get special treatment, Mike. It could be a case of it's good for me, but not good for thee.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. Okay, Slovakia becomes the 8th EU country to oppose the Global Migration Pact. So Slovakia is also all Visegrad countries have now rejected the United Nations Pact of the treatment of migrants worldwide after Slovakia Prime Minister Peter Pellegrini on Sunday announced that his country's position after the EU summit. So again, another country that does not want to be a part of this. I know New Zealand...
Well, they're not significantly large countries, though. That's the problem, Mike, apart from Poland, maybe, and Hungary. But now they can just fly them in. If you've got countries on the other side with open arms, there won't be any more dramatic footage of people walking through the wilderness anymore. They'll just be shipped in by boat or by plane, won't they?
Yeah, for sure. European countries back Australian resistance to UN Migration Pact. A growing number of European countries have joined the Australia's camp in refusing to sign up for the United Nations Pact on Migration, with a rush of dissent breaking out on the eve of the UN summit in Morocco on Monday to endorse the deal.
Oh, but here's the thing, Mike, with Australia, they're letting in any foreign investor they like, and the government will even give you money to invest. So, I mean, they might stop quote-unquote migrants, but then you've got other words you could use, and then you qualify in different manners, don't you?
Okay,
It's all a word game, it sounds like, Mike. Even though it sounds hopeful, but I wouldn't trust the government of any country as far as I could throw them. The one here is no better than the one there, Mike. They all seem to follow the same pattern, don't they? If they can get away with it, they will. And it's never in the interest of the average person, is it?
Oh, what a sigh of relief. What a sigh of relief. A little bit of sigh of relief coming over me right now. I do have ties.
Oh, really, Mike?
I have ties to people in Santiago, Chile. And me reading this is actually a relief. Chile declines to sign UN pact, says migration, not a human right, says report.
I don't think that's the biggest worry for Chile at the moment.
Thank
Mike.
God.
Even I know people in Santiago too, but they're having a big problem with avocados. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yes, but it's okay. I could make it in Chile. It's not. I'm not worried about. I you know me, Evan. I'll make it anywhere, right? So Chile has become the latest country to pull out of the controversial United Nations Migration Pact. Its interior minister indicated provoking fury among opposition parties who accused Sebastián Piñera's government of shameful authoritarian behavior. So there's a big banner on one of the buildings here. Todo migrante es mi hermano bienvenido. And yeah, I'm very happy that Chile... I'm going to start making a list of countries that are plausible countries to go to Because I think in my lifetime, Evan, we're going to start to see the poop really hit the fan. And all these people living in these...
I think it already has, hasn't it?
Oh, no, I'm talking like where it gets to a point where it's like, holy F, what's going on? It's come to my doorstep type of problem. Yeah. So Chile is another country. I have ties there, so it's not that hard. I mean, I have people that would pick me up at the airport, set me up, get me everything rolling. Within weeks, I'll be rolling. I'll be in business. I'll be doing something.
Then you go down to Patagonia and relax, Mike. But here's the thing, mate. You said, holy crap, it's on my doorstep, right? But if this is already going through now, it's not going to be holy crap, it's on my doorstep. It's going to be holy crap, the people I've already let in are starting to misbehave. It'll be more of that sort of metaphor, won't it? You won't be allowed to have front doors anymore, Mike. They'll be totally illegal if they keep going the way they're going.
Oh, God forbid you have a little border from your sidewalk to your land.
No, that's unacceptable, Mike. Not allowed, unfortunately.
Oh, thank God, Chile. So Chile's...
How could you dare have that? Imagine my feelings, Mike, if you did that. My feelings might be in jeopardy.
Yes.
That's just no good.
Okay, this is from 13 hours ago in Marrakesh, Morocco. More than 160 countries sign UN Migration Pact. U.S. and others opt out. So the U.S. is off my list of a place to flee to because I tried to live there legally. I went by the book. I did everything by the book, and I paid lawyers. I did everything. I even did this whole workshop for 6 months to make sure I wasn't stealing an American's job. You know what I'm saying? And
well, you are flying hither and yonder, Mr. Transmission Man, Mike.
That's right.
But they didn't want you.
Nope.
You're a skilled worker. You're not a useless eater or a wastrel. So unfortunately, we have no place for people like you, people who might think for themselves or have some sort of capability. Can't have it, Mike. Terribly sorry.
So that's okay. So there's the countries I could get in. I know I could get into Chile, and I think I could get in. Even if I didn't have ties in a country like Chile, I think I could get through easier with a Portuguese citizenship than a North...
I would say so.
Yeah.
But then again, Chile and Bolivia... Well, I mean, do you know the joke about Bolivian surfers, Mike?
Mm-hmm. Tell me.
Because there aren't any anymore. If you go to Chile, that's the best joke I can think of. You upset the Bolivians something chronic because they don't have water anymore. They lost it in that war, if you recall, Mike.
That's right. What year was that? 1966?
Would have been just after 66, I believe.
Okay.
It was in that area of time, though. You know, Pinochet dressed up very nicely.
Yes.
At the end of that era, he had all the SS uniforms. Where did he get those? You know, a lot of questions there, Mike. A lot of questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 10 countries.
Questions on Mike and the Nick.
Again. Globe and Mail, again. Mostly former communist Eastern European have pulled out. They keep talking about communists.
Because they're former communists, Mike. They're not communist anymore, so why would you even use that label, according to them?
Well, this is the Globe and Mail. So this is one of the Canadian news outlets that was given some money by the federal government.
Well, they won't be able to keep their license, will they, as a media outlet when Canada signs? Because that was one of the stipulations in that UN agreement on the migrants that they just signed in Morocco. Morocco, was it, Mike? It was, wasn't it?
Marrakesh.
Morocco. I always get them mixed up.
Marrakesh, yeah. 9 arrested during protest against UN Migration Pact in Parliament Hill. Man faces charges of assaulting a police officer. 8 others released with trespass notices. So this is in Canada. And people are going against this migration pact. And a lot of people are making it very clear that they don't want this. And social media is being flooded by this. And here's the problem, Evan, with my experience living in Canada, okay? Canada's the type of country where it's the torchlight. It's the Olympic torch, the leader, Canada's going to show the rest of the world how this migration pact works and how it's going to help the world's economy and how it's going to help every Canadian. And Canada will do this and Canada will be the best at it. And we're the torchlight of this migration pact. We want to be the first to sign it on the list, and we want to be the first to show the world. That's how Canada is. Evan from Mike's.
Well, actually, Mike, I would go a little bit further. Each Western country has its own test bed for certain things. For example, America, I would argue, is the vaccination test bed for the Western world. They've got more vaccinations than anyone, and they've got more militant rules on vaccinations than anywhere. And then that is applied to Canada, and then that's applied to the UK. UK has the education stomping ground where children are forced to go, well, increasingly so, to go to school earlier and earlier and earlier. I think it's 3 now. They're trying to make it mandatory at the moment. And Canada seems to be the, homosexual and deviant torchbearer, but they all bear different torches, mate.
I see what, they're using different entities, like you said. They're using the war on drugs, then they use the war on genders, and then the war on this. They're always finding something to use, right? And
it's not a war, Mike. It's a discussion. We've just got to have a discussion on this. Oh no, my emotions on both sides. Look how victimized the victim side is. We just got to have gay marriage. Oh, look, we've just got to have all these Haitians in here. Oh,
yeah.
Look, we've just got to have all these migrants in here. We've just got to have a discussion about it. And it's funny, like in France, Mike, I mean, the extent of that protest, there's been protests going on for a year prior in places like Bordeaux and Lyon. The lawyers' union in Lyon, because I know one of the lawyers, really nice guy, took me to the top of Paris, quite a walk. But he said, yeah, it's been bubbling for years now, and all of a sudden, they're saying it's in Paris with all these people with anonymous masks on. I'd say that was their attempt to try and co-opt it, like they tried to do here with the Umbrella Revolution. In fact, if you remember the Umbrella Revolution in Hong Kong, it was quite a thing. The people who started that by accident are the people I work with. By coincidence, I ran into people, and they started the protest before anybody else. They were the ones who got the ball rolling, and within 5 minutes, there were trucks and helicopters and everything airdropping all the equipment and stage stuff in, and they cobbled together an amazing protest. Instantly, they were ready to go. So it's as if they have all these trucks on standby, Mike, most of the time, ready for any protest to go on at any time. It's very interesting.
Okay, here. We got to see this because a lot of people won't understand this. I want to bring this up because they keep... See, it's really, really, really hard to find the truth, especially online. And I want to show you what I want to talk about. It says here, nations will begin work on non-binding pact for more than 1 million people arrived in Europe in 2015, many fleeing civil war in Syria. Okay, but here's the thing. This is what Syria looked like before it was destabilized.
That looked very nice.
Yep. But Syria 1999. Let's see if
You've
it's...
got to remember, I'll tell you something that people forget, is that there was, in Leviticus, there's a prophecy against Damascus. It said it would never be a city again. So,
there it is here. See at the bottom? It's beautiful with those golden towers in the middle of Damascus. And, a beautiful country. And then, boom, they basically destabilized the entire... I'm getting no images of pre-Syria. I'm getting nothing here on Google. All I'm seeing is destruction and babies crying. What?
It's selective Google. They're pushing what they want approved stuff to the top. This was implemented 2 years ago, and they've been ramping it up ever since. Same with YouTube. They're pushing the approved, government approved or Google approved stuff to the top, and your stuff that you actually want to look for right to the bottom. And they're doing it with a number of things, Mike. For example, if you've ever heard of the Mandela effect, where they're basically rewriting history to make you doubt your own memory.
Yeah.
They're using Google to facilitate that. Because when you look up Tweedledum and Tweedledee, what should they be wearing on their head, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
You know who Tweedledum and Tweedledee are, Mike?
Yes, the guy that wears that hat with the little propeller on it.
Oh, no, go to Google, Mike. You'll see what it is now. It's definitely not a propeller anymore. And they're saying it's always been a flag, but it was always a propeller. They're making you doubt what you believe.
Yeah, I heard about this. No, and Nelson Mandela did not die. I can't find Syria before the war. And this war was only a few years ago.
Yeah, you'd have to put in a year in order to get the...
I'm putting in a year.
...engine to do it for you, mate.
Okay, here. Tourist destination Damascus. Here we go. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Beautiful city. Beautiful women. Nobody wearing hijabs. Mm-hmm. Here it is here again. The look, corner shops, coffee, cobblestone streets. Look at tourists in Syria. Look at this. Syria was a great country. It was on one of my to-do lists back in the early 2000s, before the illegal war kicked off there.
It's no shortage of things to do in Syria, Mike. It's one of the nicer places, very fertile ground.
Here it is here. Here it is here. This turnabout here in Damascus, how beautiful it was, and all the shops, and all the taxis, and all the Mercedes-Benz. And then look at it here after the war. So...
Not just a pile of rocks, Mike. That's all that we left.
Now it's a pile of rocks, yeah. But it infumes me when they're saying, oh, all these people needing to leave Syria. Syria was nothing like this. Syria had beautiful botanical gardens. It had, I think, the most organized religions in the world, like the most accepted religions in Syria, I think. It was, 103 religions?
Yes. Well, here's the other thing, Mike. You've got to remember, most of the people who are coming aren't Syrian anyway. That was just the excuse. Now they're coming from all over. Throw away your passport and go to Germany. They're still doing that.
Yeah, because I really wish I could show people what Syria actually looked like. Like before this, they're writing this article. With a record of 21 million refugees, more than 1 million people arrived in Europe in 2015, many fleeing civil war in Syria. It was a Western back war to destabilize the country.
They create the problem, and then they offer the solution, don't they? We have to take these refugees from the war we started for essentially no reason. Remember, they were saying Assad was playing Donkey Kong in a helicopter, throwing barrels of chlorine on people. And none of them could get the hammer pickup, and they couldn't save the princess, Mike. Something to that effect, anyway. It was very much sounded like Donkey Kong when the news story came out, and then they said that boy in the bright orange 33 code name there, who was just sat there stunned looking, doing nothing, while the ambulance workers frantically changed their costumes into doctor's outfits. You know, all these emotional videos, Mike, and then you've got that one Arab-looking corner of the world where they always take the videos of the trucks driving through and all the people chanting and cheering.
Yes.
It's a lot of stage play, Mike. You got to be careful.
Okay, here, custom range. I found a custom range tool on Google. So I typed in Syria tourism, and we're going to go back to like 2010.
Yes.
That's pre-war, right? Or is it...
I'd go early 2000s, Mike, because they did have a bit of a conflict with Israel, if you recall. So there might be bombing in that regard as well.
Okay, I really want people to see what Syria looked like before the great manufactured civil war. So we'll put in a year here, 2007 and 2008. Okay, go.
But was it a civil war, Mike? Really?
It wasn't a civil war.
A foreign incursion. I remember Trump said, that Syrian war's a bad idea, and yet all those Tomahawk missiles were suddenly fired. I'm going to get tough on this, I'm going to get tough on that. But he had no problem firing all those missiles wherever those missiles went.
Look at this gorgeous hotel in Damascus. Another hotel in Damascus. Another hotel in Damascus. Other hotels in Damascus. Wow.
Very European style, too.
Very European style, yeah. So I hate when they show that. Oh, you know, the civil war in Syria. Here, look at this. Wow. That's that one downtown part of Syria right there. That's Damascus too. Wow. So, I don't understand. Did people exist before this Syrian civil war to understand what really happened? I mean, were people like completely like impervious to understanding?
Well, they want you to forget, Mike. Remember, they're putting Google where all you can see about Syria was it's a pile of rocks. It never existed before that time, according to Google, unless you really know how to search. Most people can't type a website into an address bar anymore.
There's the 8th Gate of Damascus. This was a 8th Gate of Damascus was this beautiful place that they were building for tourists, and it's got all these beautiful hotels and pools, botanic gardens, beautiful. It's called the 8th Gate of Damascus. You guys can look it up, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And it was to be built. It was to be finished by 2013 or 2014, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And unfortunately, the country sparked into again, in quotations, a civil war. And I feel so bad because you know why? I relate to this because this happened to us in Mozambique and Angola.
That's right. We've taken from 3 different angles, Mike.
Yep. So this is, look, I'll show you guys what Mozambique, what people are saying, Mike, what are you talking about Africa for? We don't know nothing. This is a 1971. So this is what Portuguese Africa looked like. Big boulevards, lots of streets, hotels, buses. Look at this. The Portuguese hotel here, Lisboa Hotel, the cinema. There was all kinds. It was phenomenal back when the Portuguese were there. You know, it was so organized. Look at that. But no, we lost it all, and because we didn't want to join the World Bank, and we didn't want to be part of the World Bank, and then look what they did. They destabilized the entire country, and we lost everything. You know, we look at this. Look at that. These are real.
No, you didn't lose everything, Mike. You didn't lose your integrity, which is very important. Never sell out. No matter how hard they make it, never sell out, because the price is never worth it, Mike.
No, I know what you mean. But no, I mean, we had so much going, and you know, it happened. So it happened to like my aunt. Hand to God, she's still there. My aunt is still there. She still owns a very big hotel. And she went through the entire Civil War.
Yes, and came out on the other side. A lot of Syrians did too. But whether or not the powers that be see it that way, Mike, is an entirely other matter. They don't want you to remember anything. They just want you to obey and comply. If you obey and comply, you are no threat to them at all, and no longer any use to them either, which is quite interesting.
Okay. Anyways, I want to end it there. You've been very useful. You've been on for like an hour now. I'll just wrap up a few. Yeah, I'll just. So these are different angles of these. It really makes me mad when I see this. Civil war, fleeing Syria. Why was there a civil war in Syria? They're going to have gold-backed currency, the African dinar. They were building a huge empire. Syria had one of the biggest gold reserves, the 5th biggest gold reserve in the world. Syria was making the right steps, the right moves to usher in a new Africa. And why did they do that for?
Well, because you can't have that, Mike. That would be competition to their power structure. And those people, obviously, if they're going to be destroyed, weren't in the same lockstep as the current oligarchic, elitist, at the top sort of system, are they? Yeah, they didn't fit in. Okay, if you don't fit in, they're gonna get rid of you pretty quickly, Mike.
I still remember when Gaddafi was at the United Nations summit and he was reading the United Nations book and going over the different statures of the different illegal all the illegal things that was happening in his country, and he was reading the UN charter. Remember?
Mm-hmm. That's right. He said, "What are you doing this for?" numerous times.
Yeah. And they should have just left Syria alone and just they should have never manufactured that war. They should have
Well, they did. Right, they did.
They should have left it alone. They should have left Syria alone. They should have left the country. They should have left the guy alone. But no. Now it's worse off than...
You've got to be careful, Mike, because if you go down that road, you end up in the world of shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, I know.
In the world of is and is not.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying. But then these rejects here in this media should stop writing about these things that were all fabricated. They should go into this article and say, people are fleeing the fabricated war backed by French and Western intelligence that destabilized Syria, and people have to be relocated. They should rewrite this properly and stop. Does that make sense now? Am I right saying that?
Yeah, you're right. It's to do the right thing, they would have to do the right thing, Mike. But these people are not inclined at all to do the right thing. Look at Macron. You've got half the country on fire at the moment. Oh no, we're going to give you some. I don't know. Bitcoin to calm you down.
but you know what? That idiot's gonna sign this UN pact too.
No, of course, because he's been told to. He doesn't have any say in the matter. He's working for the same masters as everyone else is.
Wow, that guy's totally out to lunch. I'm sorry,
he is. Well, his lunch is a bit old and wizened and leathery, but he is out to lunch. You're right, Mike.
Anyways, well, thank you so much, Evan, for being on the show and helping me out with this. It's been a great 46 minutes. If you're free for Mike in the Night, let me know. We could go over and debunk some articles. We got to do some 5G discussion. We got to talk about how China is trying to implement 5G in other countries to take over their communications.
Like Australia, exclusively Chinese, Mike.
Yeah.
But we'll leave that topic for later.
Okay, sir. Have a good night. God bless you.
Our pleasure, Mike. See you later.
Okay. So that was Evan from Hong Kong. We're going to try to get him on mainland China to find out what the heck is going on. We got to get him undercover. We'll get him to wear a Mike in the Night t-shirt with a Mike in the Night headband and a Mike in the Night I don't know. We'll get him as deep undercover as possible. And hopefully he'll be very deep undercover and he won't be noticed in mainland China. Because we need to know what's going on. So everybody is with this slandering. Guys, stop slandering religions in the comments. All religions. I don't care. This is what they want you to do. The people above, the people that are running the show, this is exactly what they want. They want you to hate on... Hello? Hold on, Peter. I don't know what's wrong with my... Oh, God. Can you hear me? I could hear you, but I can't put you on speaker because my Skype's not open. Oh, there we go. Let me just put you on speaker. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So what?
Sure?
I think you've sat back and watched this show for the last hour and a half. What the heck is going on?
Look, I think things are getting pretty dangerous now. You are going to see, I think, quite a few...
Hello? Peter, did we lose you again? We're losing Peter all the time. What's wrong? Peter, where are you? Let me call him. Something wrong with his phone. Hello? Peter, you there? Hello? Peter, you there? Something's wrong with Peter's audio. Something's wrong. I don't know if he's got a weak connection where he is, or they're tailing us, or they're high-tying. They're trying to find a way to shut us down. Someone's saying Australian internet does it all the time, Mike. All right, let me try calling him back. Let me try calling him back and see what he has to say here. Peter, you there, bud? There's nobody there. Nobody home? Something's wrong with his internet. I don't know if it's his internet. Here, I see Brooke. Brooke here. Let's see if Brooke answers the phone. She's in New Zealand.
Hello?
Brooke, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good, good. I saw you in the comment section bringing up some things about this migrant. I know Australia, New Zealand is not part of it.
They're trying to propose it. It's currently in government. So they're trying to dispute whether or not we want to be a part of it at the moment.
But that's a good thing, because in Canada, it doesn't work like that. In Canada, we're just part of it.
Oh, no. So you just got signed up with no choice.
Well, of course, Canada is the torchlight of this. Canada is going to show the rest of the world how it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah,
So...
am I live, by the way?
Oh, you're live. You are so live. You have no idea.
Hi, people.
So, guys, this is Field Marshal Marshall. She's got her own channel, and she's been doing some really good work on her channel. Check her out, Field Marshal Marshall. She's in the comments, too. You could always click on her little name there, and then it'll go to her channel. And also throw in your link to your channel there so people could find you. So, why is this unheard of? Because a lot of people don't even know that this thing is happening.
Well, we kind of find out about it at the last minute, so they don't really put much in the media until we get a sort of inter-government outcry. So what's been happening is New Zealanders didn't know anything about this at all until our parliamentary system had a disagreement over it, because what was going to happen originally was that under the coalition government, they were going to just go ahead and sign it. But thankfully, it is still being reviewed in the government. So one of our party's nationals said that all the things that you've discussed tonight, especially talking about sovereignty and immigration, he said that we've already got pretty good immigration policies and we're already quite generous as a country. All the good stuff. And so now it's been open to the public. And I'm hoping they will put a referendum out, but I'm unsure because previously with our government, what's happened is they put it out to the public and they say it's open to referendum, but they just go ahead and sign it off anyway. And they don't always publicise the policy meetings or advertise them, so they might be going on, but you won't know anything about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so I'm just looking at this, and see, here's our Prime Minister here. I'm going to play him here for a second here, so people could see.
The all-new Ram 1500.
Oh, it's the Ram 1500.
The most luxurious truck in its class.
Canadians can be proud of is that we are showing leadership on one of the important issues around the world, which I think one of the things that Canadians can be proud of is that
Mic audio. Okay, mic audio. Here we go. Sorry. I don't know, people couldn't hear me there for a second. Mike, your audio is not functioning. You've lost sound, Mike. No sound, no sound, no sound. Okay, here we go. Sorry. So, now, let's go back to this here, to this video. So, it's kind of important because apparently this is what Canada feels.
One of the things that Canadians can be proud of is that we are showing leadership on one of the important issues around the world.
And this is what I am trying to discuss here, is that Canada's a torchlight when it comes to this kind of stuff, where it's going to be, hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? We are Canada. Look at us. We're proud. This is going to happen, and we're going to pave the way for the rest of the world to see how this works. And that's what I'm scared of as living in Canada. Let's hear what he says. Let's see what he says further.
Is migration and immigration. We are demonstrating that rigorous systems and an open policy actually leads to economic growth and economic advancement.
Open policy leads to economic growth.
Oh, it's a lie. It's all a lie.
Well, I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. He's saying it right here.
I know you're not. I'm saying Trudeau's a, you know, like with the whole open borders and economic thing is just, I thought that had been disproven time and time again, and I don't understand why people, world leaders, as a matter of fact, are trying to tell people that that's not the case when, like, you know, majority of like an excess of immigration puts the country in debt.
Okay,
immigration.
Listen.
We are demonstrating that rigorous systems and an open policy actually leads to economic growth and economic advantages. And
wow.
Wow.
I'm going to say this in Spanish because most people in English that heard this in English probably have no idea. Estos las fronteras abiertas económicamente se pueden ayudar nuestro país económicamente delante. Wow. I just say that in a foreign language to hear it because I just can't believe what he said here because
it's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish.
Systems and open policy.
They're pushing that, and like it's interesting. You know how you were talking about Canada being kind of the pinnacle in the eye of the world in terms of progressivism and things like that. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were like, "Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so progressive." And I said, well, have you checked out what progressivism is? As of late, anyway, because it's all an illusion. And wasn't he in trouble for sexually assaulting a young girl?
Who
used to work for him? Trudeau.
Oh, don't be silly. No, don't be silly. That's Donald Trump. You know why Donald Trump doesn't want to shake Trudeau's hand?
Because it's probably been somewhere disgusting.
No, Donald Trump doesn't want to shake Trudeau's hand because he thought in his mind when he saw his hand, he said, well, last time I touched a pea, I made national headline news.
Yeah. So I better not touch anymore or grab anymore.
Yeah. I had to say the P word. I couldn't say the full word. Okay, Look, I'll say it again. So Trump is refusing to shake Trudeau's hand because last time Donald Trump touched a cat, he made headline news.
And the quote was, grab them by the...
Yeah. So it's best he doesn't shake, you know what I'm saying, but
yeah, for sure.
Oh man, it's scary. So I mean, so let's play this again.
Important issues around the world.
Grande importancia, problemas en nuestro mundo. En inmigración, estamos demostrando que el sistema y la policía se crecen la economía y grande más fuerte comunidades. That's in Spanish for people watching this because I can't believe what I'm hearing here. I don't know what to tell you, Brooke.
Well, it's getting fearful. Like I myself, I'm getting quite fearful for it, because the whole thing, that hate speech carry on, aside with the immigration, it doesn't actually outline what hate speech is in the compact agreement, and our Prime Minister has already been throwing the hate speech word around. She said Lauren Southern was a hate speech user.
What the hell does hate speech even mean? They can't even define what hate speech is.
It's not true. It's nothing. It's a myth. It's a myth. It's just more, spells and wizardry that they use with the language. And what I'm fearful for what's going to happen, because our media is already incredibly biased, right?
Yeah.
And with that coming in, it's who knows? And I don't even know. They haven't even outlined clearly what's that going to mean. How monitored are we going to be? How not monitored are we going to be? I'm changing universities next year, and the one I'm going to is one of the ones that campaigned against Lauren Southern and Stefan. And my concern is I'm going to get into a debate with someone at the university and I'll say something that might be factual. Their feelings will get hurt, and then I might get in trouble. And that might sound silly, but that's actually the reality of it. If you look at other places where the hate speech, because that's already a thing in Canada, right? The hate speech laws.
Yeah, there's hate speech laws in Canada. I know in the UK it's really being pressed hard. They're pressing it really hard. So, my defense to this is, if someone says anything to me, it's, you know what? I'm a Portuguese. And when I lived in Ontario, they deported us by the tens of thousands. There was a mass purging of Portuguese, and Portuguese weren't welcome in Ontario.
Yeah.
That's my backup. Oh, but I'm a Portuguese. When I was in high school, Brooke, a teacher would say at the first day of class, put your hand up if you're Portuguese. Okay, go to the back of the room. We don't care.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. Do you understand?
Times have changed.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of us in Canada that are very untouchable when it comes to things like this because there's a lot of... So, I'm talking about this. I'm not hating on anything. I'm just wanting to understand the future of this country and your country and what is going to happen. Why is this happening? I just want to ask the questions. Heck, no one gives a crap what I think. You know what I'm saying? Who gives a crap what I think? I just kind of want to understand what is really happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to get a grasp on it.
And why is it a problem to question the status quo?
I thought that was what you were supposed to do.
I have no problem up against government. It's just we don't need so much government. We don't want to be governed on any issue. There should be a law in place. Every country should have a law in place with people immigrating to it. Migration should be illegal, which it is. And there should be laws in place. There should be laws in place that take care of these problems instead of having government coming in and signing accords against its people, and that's high treason.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and we definitely we need to find a solution as the people.
Yeah, it needs to be. We need to come to some sort of thing. Well, anyways, I'm going to let you go. Let me know if you could be on Mike in the Night, if you're available. I know you're busy on that day. I know it's Sunday, your day in New Zealand. And we could, maybe we could get some good topics floating around. And, hey, I need you to cover for me the 5G network that's banned in New Zealand.
Oh, is it banned, is it?
Yes, it is. It's banned. So I need to find out, you need to tell us why this is happening in New Zealand and why the 5G network is a big no-no there.
Well, I'm not entirely sure.
That's why you're going to find out. So when you get some time, find out. Let us know by Saturday.
Yeah. But we have had we have had an issue with one of our academics. She wrote a paper in 2017 criticizing and identifying Chinese foreign investment and Chinese corruption in New Zealand, and she has since been harassed and bullied continuously. Continuously for it. They've also added funding. They're trying to add funding to our universities, and so there's a bit of pushback because we're not allowed to do that in their country, right?
Right. Well, yeah, but it's a cluster. It's a cluster F.
Yeah. I'll look into that for you anyway, Mike, and we'll talk about it next time.
Maybe you could get into one of the cell phone companies there and maybe question them.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Just when you're through a mall or somewhere, and you could stop and say, "Hey guys, you don't know me, but I know you, and I want to ask you some questions." You know?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Brooke. God bless you. Okay.
So see you, man.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was Brooke in New Zealand, where they are against, and they're putting this through Parliament, this bill through Parliament, where this law in Parliament.
And immigration. We are demonstrating that rigorous systems and an open policy actually leads to economic growth and economic advantages and stronger communities. And being able to do this in a way that shows global leadership and, of course, does not impinge upon our own sovereignty is something I think Canadians can be proud of.
It's the moment of silence there. The reason why I'm so... It's not that I'm against this or fighting against it, or... It's because tens of thousands of Portuguese were... Most of them legal, were just kicked out of Ontario. And why all of a sudden are they deported Portuguese families, mass purging of Portuguese? Look, there's even my pictures here. See, Canada's launching crackdown on illegal Portuguese immigrants. They went to school. They went to schools to take us from the high schools and hold us in gymnasiums until our parents came in. Canada launches huge crackdown on illegal Portuguese immigrants. Portuguese foreign minister traveled to Canada this week to request that deported Portuguese citizens are given more time to leave the country. They weren't giving us time to leave the country. They were picking us up in schools, in high schools. They were picking us up wherever and putting us on a plane without even letting us shower, get dressed. That's what they did. So when they keep pushing these laws like this, Mike Martins is going to come and talk. Because they did this because they hate Portuguese. Which is fine. No problem. But then, I'm going to be talking this left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. This is my left. This is my right. And this is my center. Yeah, when they tell us, oh, Mike, you know, why are you going, you know, this, that? No. Mass purging. Foreign minister traveled to Canada to request that deported Portuguese citizens are given time to leave the country, and also urges Portugal's immigrants not to encourage family members to become illegal workers there. But why pick only on the Portuguese? Gordon Smith say, if they are illegal, they are illegal. It's only Portuguese. There was many illegal people from Italy, France, Germany, but it was just the Portuguese. And that's... If they want all these people to come in, then why only cut out? Like birth tourism doesn't work for Portuguese. It works for people from China and other countries. But if you're from Portugal and you have a baby here, Out. And that's why I've had my eye on the door to leave this country for many years. Yep. See, thousands of deportees arrived in Faro Airport on Tuesday on a direct flight from Toronto. They received no counsel or support in Canada. Of course, you're a Portuguese. They don't want you here. Deportation from Canada during the Great Depression. Canadian-born man facing deportation. Immigration laws to Portugal. Oh yeah, there was a lot of people that were born in Canada. They all got deported. All of them. Everybody got deported. But, oh yeah, this is going to come up all the time. This is not, oh, Canada's signing this and bringing in all these, no problem. Hey, why'd you deport tens of thousands of Portuguese in the 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010? Why only the Portuguese? Yep. So this is what tickles. And then I wouldn't be here if you didn't destabilize my damn country. Hello. I'd be in Portuguese Africa, or I'd be running some God knows what down in Brazil. I make it wherever I go. I make it. So if you didn't destabilize our countries and put us in war, maybe we wouldn't want to be here. Anyways, guys, I'm going to sign off. I'm done for the night. You guys tell me. Here it is again. Let's listen to this. This is good, man. Oh, it's loading an ad. This is racist. There's a blonde lady in the video. This is 100% racist. Yeah, let's listen to this again.
Be proud of is that we are showing leadership on one of the important issues around the world, which is migrations and immigration. We are demonstrating that rigorous systems and an open policy actually leads to economic growth and economic advantages and stronger communities, and being able to do this in a way that shows global leadership and, of course, does not impinge upon our own sovereignty is something I think Canadians can be proud of.
So why weren't others deported? That was the main question. Anyways. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Don't forget the subscribe button. And we all have our personal agendas, right? And this is my personal agenda. You know, lots of illegals in Canada. But you know what? Go after the Portuguese. And I've been, we'll see what happens in the next election. Next election's going to come up. And you know what? Follow me on YouTube. If I decide to leave, if we start seeing what Canada really, what's really happening in Canada, you know what, guys? Keep following me on YouTube. I promise you, you will see how good it is out there outside of a Western country. I promise you. Good night, everybody. God bless everybody. And don't forget to join me for Trends in the Housing Market this Wednesday.